when I started working on the practices, thinking about what one would hold to be a practice to achieve the outcome. The outcome, see, Vita religion is based on an outcome, and the outcome is that we humans get to live sustainably for hundreds of millions of years, right? In order to do that, we've got to get through the Anthropocene crisis. We've got to euthanize the fossil fuel industry. We've got to pull the plastic out of the ocean. We've got to fix up the mess with the nuclear waste. We've got to transition the energy supply system, blah, 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 right? Now, I could actually just written those down as practices. But the trouble with that is that's our current understanding of the situation today. Now, it might be tomorrow there is other things that are of greater priority. So I didn't really want to deal with the practices at that level. I wanted to deal with them on a sort of more abstract level that creates more flexibility for people to figure out where they fit. So there's 8 in total. Let me just mention a couple. First one is live with earthity. Live with earthity is really an exhortation. Just be a decent human being. If you're a cell in the body of a greater being, if the core principle is that all life on Earth forms a single organism. We call that Vita planeta, right? The living planet. So the living planet of the biosphere is a single organism of which we're a part. So when we pollute the environment, we're polluting the greater self. That's the concept of it. And when you see yourself as a part of a broader thing, you start to honor and revere the greater thing because you understand that your interests are tied together. So live with earthity is simply an exhortation just to be a decent human being. Don't be racist. Don't be misogynistic. Be a good environmentalist, right? Just be a decent human being. Stoicism, right? The ancient Greek philosophy around eudaimonia, living a good life. A good life in that case was a life that's good for you, but a life that is you being a contributor to society. Okay, so Vita's basically tries to fill the gap that wasn't there. We're not trying to replace Stoicism. We want Vitans to be Stoics. We want Vitans to practice Buddhist practices, for example. Okay, because that philosophy is already well thought through. We're trying to bring in the bit that's been missing, which is the ecological sustainability part. So another practice is Vita mission. So practice a Vita mission, and that's basically find your mission in the big journey. If you think of us as a war, we've got a war going on where we've got to get rid of the fossil fuel industry for one, right? What type of soldier are you in that battle? Now the seabird, the Sula leucogasta, follows instinct, right? We have culture overrides instinct. We can choose our place. So find your place. For me, one of my Vita missions is to create the Vita religion and to share it around the world. Okay, so find your mission. Now, you might execute that mission through your day job as an environmental professional in some form, or you might work a regular job and perform your Vita mission in the afternoon. Some people want to be street activists. Some people research solar cells. Find your mission. So there are 2. And then reinvent new year, which is an exhortation to reinvent all institutions. So what's the sustainable version of archery? What's the sustainable version of politics, if you like? Okay, what's the sustainable version of New Year? Okay, so New Year, as it's practiced in the West, is basically a commemoration of the circumcision of Christ. That's what it is. It's where 1st of January came from. So when I learned that, I'm like, well, I don't want to have New Year on Foreskin Day anymore. What's a better day to celebrate the New Year? It's an arbitrary date after all. And so I've established 16th of July as the New Year, which is the commemoration of the Trinity bomb test, which is the first nuclear bomb test, which is the de facto date of the beginning of the Anthropocene epoch. So there's some depth in there. We can come back to that if you like. And then one of the other practices is a burial practice or a funerary practice that says that when you die, rather than having your ashes sitting in a jar, just go back to nature, like green burials or burials at sea or cremation, but let the minerals in your body be taken up by other organisms. This idea of we're part of this flow of life, right? So that's a few of the practices. And I think, and when I first sort of really thought them through, then I realized that they were pretty good, and they've sort of stood the test of time over the last 7 years. And I think within that space, it covers pretty much everything that needs to be covered.